students, I'm going to discuss the quick solution of All India Akash Test Series paper number 1 of Botany section. In Botany section, the very first question is question number 91, and that is, how many of the following plants flower only once in their life? The question is asking about the monocarpic plants. Monocarpic plants are those plants which flower only once in their life. You may be knowing about it that all annuals and biennials are monocarpic, whereas few perennials are also monocarpic. So here, rice, carrot, Neelakurenji, bamboo species and wheat. These all 5 plants are monocarpic and rest are polycarpic. So the correct answer for the question is option number 2. Let's move on to the next question. That is question number 92. Select the odd one with respect to the plant groups that use water as a medium for male gamete transfer. The options given here are algae, bryophytes, pteridophytes and gymnosperms. Gymnosperms produce pollen grains, not the male gametes directly, but algae, bryophytes and pteridophytes, these are lower plants and they directly produce the male gametes. And these male gametes, they need water to travel from male sex organ to the female sex organ. So in lower plants such as algae, bryophytes and pteridophytes, we need water for transfer from male sex organ to the female sex organ. So the odd one plant group which does not require water as a medium for male gamete transfer is gymnosperms, as the gymnosperms produce pollen grains and these pollen grains are carried by air currents from male sex organ to the female sex organ. So the correct option for this question is option number 4. Let's move on to the next question. That is question number 93. Match the columns and select the correct option. In column 1, the name of the organisms are given, and in column 2, the reproductive structures of those organisms are given. You need to match the column 1 with the column 2. Penicillium, it's a fungus. It produces conidia when it reproduces asexually. So penicillium produces conidia. Water hyacinth, the scientific name of water hyacinth is Eichhornia. Eichhornia reproduces vegetatively with the help of offset. So it is 4. Agave, again it's a plant which is commonly known as century plant. It reproduces with the help of bulbils. It's a vegetative propagule. And ginger again vegetatively reproduces with the help of rhizome. So you can match now A 3, B 4, C 2nd and D 1. So by analyzing all the options, we can conclude that the correct option for this is option number 3. So answer 3. So the next question is question number 94. How many of the following features are true for Chara? Some statements are given here about Chara. You need to choose the correct ones. So A, statement says as mostly dioecious. No, Chara are mostly monoecious. Monoecious means the sex organs are present on the same plant. Here you can see that this is the female sex organ and this is the male sex organ, and both are present on the same plant. It means Chara species are mostly monoecious. So it is mostly dioecious. No, it is mostly monoecious. B is female sex organ at lower position than male. No, it is not correct, as this is the female sex organ which is also known as nucleus. This is male sex organ which is also known as globule. You can see that the female sex organ is present at the upper position than the male. So this statement becomes incorrect. C statement is nucleus occupies upper position than the globule. Yes, nucleus is the female sex organ which occupies the upper position than the globule. D. Globule matures later than nucleus. Globule is the male sex organ which matures prior to the nucleus. Male sex organ हमेशा पहले mature होता है than the female sex organ, and this condition is known as protandrous condition. So, not later, it is prior to the nucleus, and this condition is known as protandrous condition. Next is E statement says that it produces both motile male and female gametes. No, Cara does not produce both male and female gametes motile. The male gametes are motile, but the female gametes are larger and non-motile. Again, this statement becomes incorrect. And the last statement is the male gametes are produced inside the globule. As you know, globule is the male sex organ. Definitely, the male gametes are produced inside the globule. So this statement is correct. So how many statements out of these statements are true regarding Cara? 2 statements are correct. So for this question, the correct option is option number 3. Let's see the next question now. That is question number 95. An alga which produces motile homogametes is. Before dealing with question, you should know what are called the homogametes. Homo means same. Gametes, it means the morphologically similar gametes. जो same दिखने वाले gametes है morphologically, जब तुम distinguish नहीं कर पाते हो male and female gamete में, called homogametes. And the opposite of homogametes is heterogametes. What are called heterogametes? Heterogametes are morphologically different or dissimilar gametes. जब gametes morphologically एक दूसरे से नहीं मैच करते हैं, तब हम उनको heterogametes बोलते हैं. As you already understood homogametes, homogametes can be motile or non-motile. Motile homogametes are present in cladophora, and non-motile are present in Spirogyra. And in heterogametes are found in Fucus volvox. Now you can see that volvox produces heterogametes, Spirogyra produces homogametes, but they are non-motile. Fucus produces heterogametes. Cladophora is the correct option for this question. That is option 3. Let's move on to the next question. Let's start with the question number 96. Mark the incorrect statement for water hyacinth. First statement is, it was introduced in Bengal due to its beautiful flowers in shape of leaves. It's a true statement, as water hyacinth or Eichhornia is not the native of India. It was introduced by Queen Victoria due to its beautiful flowers in shape of leaves. It is true statement. Second is, it produces its clone in short period of time at a phenomenal rate. Means very fast. Yes, because water hyacinth can vegetatively propagate with the help of offset. Hence, it can produce its clones in very short period of time. So, this is also the correct statement regarding the water hyacinth. Third statement is, it's an invasive weed of standing water bodies. It is also true statement. And the last is, it releases some toxins which lead to death of fishes. No, this is the incorrect statement. It does not release some toxins. It drains out oxygen from the water, which lead to death of fishes. So this is the incorrect statement regarding the water hyacinth. Hence, the correct option for this is option number 4. Now let's move to the next question. Question number 97. Examine the figures A to D given below showing different structures of reproduction. Figure A, B, C and D are given and you need to choose out the structure which produces new genetic combinations. You may be knowing about it that the new genetic combinations come from sexual reproduction. Sexual reproduction because वहाँ पर fusion of gametes है, दो अलग अलग parents gametes produce करते हैं, gametes fuse करते हैं, and then that leads to the formation of a zygote which creates the genetic combinations. But in case of asexual and vegetative propagation, there is no genetic combinations. Why? Because only a single parent is involved. There is no fusion of gametes over there. So here, which figure can produce the new genetic recombinations in which sexual reproduction is involved? Figure A shows zoospores of Chlamydomonas. Figure B, it is the bulbil of agave. Figure C is rhizome of ginger. And figure D shows heterogametes of fucus. Now you can see that figure A shows the zoospores of chlamydospores. Zoospores are the asexual spores which are produced by most of the algae. Because it is the asexual reproduction, it cannot produce the new genetic combinations. Figure B shows the bulbil of agave. Again, bulbil is a mode of vegetative reproduction. It cannot produce the new genetic combinations. Figure C shows the rhizome of ginger. Again, rhizome, it's a vegetative reproduction. So it cannot show the new genetic recombinations. And figure D shows the heterogametes of fucus. This is the female gamete, this is the male gamete. These two gametes fuse together to form the zygote, which happens in sexual reproduction, and hence this will produce the new genetic combinations. So the correct answer for this question is option number 3. Now let's move on to the next question, that is question number 98. Which statement is not true for anther? We need to choose the statement which is not correct about the anther. Statement 1. Outer 3 layers of anther wall perform protection and help in dehiscence of anther. It is correct statement. As these 3 layers you can see here, epidermis, the outermost layer, endothecium, inner to it, and the middle layers inner to it. So epidermis, endothecium and middle layers. So these 3 layers, they help in dehiscence of anther. Next statement is, developing pollen grains are nourished by the layer having dense cytoplasm and more than one nucleus. It is also the correct statement, as it is talking about the tapetum. This tapetum is the innermost layer where the cells of tapetum have dense cytoplasm and generally more than one nucleus. Statement 3. Hygroscopic fibrous bands are present on inner tangential wall of the endothecium. It is also the correct statement. This layer, endothecium, it has hygroscopic fibrous bands which absorb water and then they help in dehiscence of anther. So it is also the correct statement. Last is, pollen grains are dispersed in the form of tetrads. No. As the anther matures and dehydrates, the microspore tetrads, they dissociate from each other and the pollen grains are dispersed. So they are not dispersed in the form of tetrads. Instead, tetrads dissociate from each other to form pollen grains. So this is incorrect statement. So out of these statements, the incorrect one is option number 4. So the correct answer for this question is option number 4. Let's move on to the next question. A structure which represents the male gametophyte of angiosperm has. See, what is the male gametophyte of angiosperms? A male gametophyte is a structure which produces male gametes. In case of angiosperms or the flowering plants, the male gametophyte is the pollen grain. So pollen grain is the male gametophyte in case of angiosperms. First statement, the most resistant organic material in its inner layer. The pollen grain has most resistant organic material, that is sporopollenin on its outer layer. So this statement is incorrect. Second statement is 2 male gametes in majority of angiosperms at the time of dispersal. No. In 60% of angiosperms, the pollen grains are shed at 2-celled stage, in which there is one generative cell and one vegetative cell. And in 40% of angiosperms, it is shed at 3-celled stage, where it is one vegetative cell and 2 male gametes. So the 2 male gametes in majority of angiosperms at the time of dispersal, it is incorrect statement. Dependency of surrounding temperature and humidity to remain viable. Viability of pollen grains is dependent on the surrounding temperature and humidity also. So this is correct statement. And the last is the germ pores for release of male gametes directly into the ovule. The area of the pollen grain where sporopollenin is absent forms the germ pores, from where pollen tube emerges out. But pollen grains cannot release their male gametes directly into the ovule with the help of germ pores. So this is incorrect statement. So the correct statement regarding the male gametophyte of angiosperm is option number 3. So the correct answer for this question is answer 3. Let's move on to the next question. Microspore mother cell is similar to megaspore mother cell in all except being diploid. Both microspore mother cell or the pollen mother cell and the megaspore mother cell are diploid. So both are diploid. Produces gametes. Yes, both produce gamete. So it is also correct. Undergoing meiosis. Yes, both PMC and MMC undergo meiosis to produce gametes. Having callose layer. No, microspore mother cells are associated with each other with the help of callose layer. But megaspore mother cell is the only cell which produces megaspores. So this is incorrect. So the correct option for this question is option number 4.